double check.
Yeah, it's running.
I have been considering some basic aspects which is valuable in this deeper sense that first of all there has to be the understanding what is it that what we are doing and why are we staying with this orientation and not just going into the usual common approach where everybody is trying to be successful, be accumulating wealth and accumulating power and accumulating prestige and just having fun. So it needs very careful consideration and understanding, and also it needs to be perhaps more deeply communicated, because in the society, in the world, often there is not a perspective that the usual way of going is not sufficient, that it is leading not to the true fulfillment, to the true happiness, to the true joy which everybody is seeking. It cannot allow the deeper quality of understanding and love when one is only running behind these things and serving a system which is not often gone so consciously. So we need to have systems, we need to go with the structures of the world, but we also have to see that every structure has its possibility and limitations, and we need to go on understanding it and correcting the way. And that is what is often not recognized. It is just like when we are going with a ship in the ocean. If there is no perspective, at least in the people who are connected with the driving of the ship, which direction to take, where are the dangers, which one has to take, go carefully. And if someone has no deeper perspective, if everybody is only concerned about having a good time in the ship now, then it will be not very intelligent. It will not be a sensible way of going. And this is something like that what we are experiencing in the world. There is a situation where we have many possibilities, many things have opened up, and especially with the modern scientific developments, where people can travel, where there is now communication possibilities, and especially with the development of the internet. It has opened the perception very much. But many also don't know what way to go about it in such a way that it becomes really healthy and fulfilling. And what we see as the traps in the modern societies, where people are suffering from psychological problems, from depression, from all kind of addiction, and many self-destructive processes, is that there is a high percentage of human beings who are not really recognizing that it is not enough to just serve the system and have a good time. It is necessary also to stay wakefully with it, to go consciously with it, also to take critical considerations without being blindly against it. And this is like someone in the ship finding a way to go above and get support to see where it is leading to, which direction to take, where it is coming to the shore, where it is finding the right basis later. So without this perspective being brought in by someone and being incorporated into the structures of the society, everybody is just running behind things which they know. And when you are not following that, you look like a fool, you look like somebody strange, you look like somebody who is almost against it. And in some cases they almost look at you as a criminal because you are not following the same ambitions, the same structures in a blind way. So become aware what is the sense behind it. And those of you who have been somewhere connecting more wakefully and deeply and can see some of these aspects, also have to understand that you have to let it become more clear to yourself, so that you are also able to share it with the others, communicate to the others. It is natural that there will be critical and often unfriendly reactions coming when you are not following the usual systems. But you need to understand yourself, you need to become clear, you need to become alert. What is this? I can tell you something about how it has been for me when I started not going into the normal system. After I finished the studies in the filmmaking, somehow from my feeling it was clear to me that I don't want to go into a commercial film production where it is just to serve the entertainment industry and to make money and to get famous and all that. And at that time life offered me some very valuable possibilities if I wanted to go into that. But I had to consider, I had to look and make it clear to myself, what is it that I want? And I saw that I have not the feeling just to serve the system and to settle in it, because I felt something is not so clear about it, something is not okay when I go into that in that way. And that is when I came across many possibilities where the spiritual process is considered and the significance of bringing more awareness into life was opening up for me. And it has been also later on various occasions, a question which I again and again brought to myself and asked, am I doing the right thing when I'm not going into this usual system and trying to have a secure job and have the insurances and have everything comfortable, and especially when a child was born? I very earnestly asked these questions, but then it became again conscious and clear to me that even if it is difficult, even if it is going in a different way, I have to pursue this aspect of bringing awareness into life for myself and for all who are ready to understand and see it, to make it available, to make it possible that this can become a vision, this can become a possibility to be realized for everybody. Because without this vision being there, without the understanding that such a seeking is necessary, such an orientation is valuable, people feel lost. And they believe that when you are not successful in the usual way, when you are not able to achieve this, then you are not worthy. And that is one falling into a negative stage. And the other falling is when they have these things, they have somehow managed, but then they feel something is missing, something is empty. It's not fulfilling. They don't feel authentic, they don't feel true in their deeper state. From inside something is pointing out something to them, but often people don't know how to connect to it. So it is very much necessary that those who are understanding, those who have come to feel, also try to consciously confront their own situation and see what are you doing, what is valuable, what is making you go in this way. Because the more clear you are in yourself, the more free your energy becomes. And then you can also communicate when people are critical to you, against you sometimes. You can still consider it gracefully without becoming aggressive or without getting upset and hurt, but watching all these human reactions which come in you and yet respond to it in a compassionate way, in a loving way, in a sincere way. And this is what I find is very, very important, that there has to be this conscious consideration of one's own situation and one's own approach, one's own priorities, and make it clear to yourself, what am I doing? And when it becomes more clear to you, and your own inner conflicts which are otherwise arising because you are not clear is looked at, and through that clearing of the energy is taking place, then there is a different integrity in you. Then you can also communicate and share with the others from your clarity. So it is important that all those who have somewhere started looking more deeply and started considering, also let this clarity come in, let this understanding deepen. And one has to really again and again recognize this factor, that when we are not very consciously and deliberately moving in a graceful way, in a creative way, the automatism is pulling us into the habitual reactions. And some criticalness is there when some things are not working, when some things look so problematic and you don't have any perspective. It is human and natural that you feel sad, you feel hurt, you feel senseless, you feel, what am I doing? And all kind of doubts come up. So let it all come up, let it become conscious to you. Let it become transparent to yourself. So don't push it away, but also don't let it overtake you blindly. It is not trying to close the eyes and just push in a so-called positive direction what I am telling you. The positivity is only in a healthy sense possible when you consider the negative aspects which come up. Look at it and see the reactions which are arising without indulging in it. See that what are the factors which you need to take into consideration. See what are the feelings which are arising, and look at it so that your energy is not blindly getting trapped in it. And then see what are the intelligent steps, what are the sensible steps which can be possible, and go wholeheartedly into answering to the challenge of the situation. This is what response is, that you are not suppressing anything, but you look, you consider, and you stay rooted in the wakefulness inside, so that without getting trapped in the negative, you have sufficient distance to consider what is possible, what is valuable, what is a creative step, how to go about it in a healthy sense. And this is very, very significant. This is what each one has to take up as an inner commitment. Unless you really see that it is a conscious way of being with the moment, with the energy. And this commitment is a commitment to life, commitment to truth, commitment to love, commitment to be with this moment and see what way I am manifesting the energy. Only this way you can disentangle yourself by and by from all these automatic negative pulls without suppressing anything. And through this rootedness in the consciousness, allow an orientation which is really valuable, really sincere, where your whole energy can flow, and which is intelligent, which is really loving and compassionate. So become aware of this possibility, and from your understanding take up this commitment. Only you can do this from within. And as more and more people who understand, recognize this challenge and the danger of getting pulled into the negative in all these situations, and also see that this is possible for us as human beings through bringing awareness into living, through the meditative process, through inner commitment, to clear oneself from the traps of the negative process and to rise above it, to live and to manifest a quality of understanding and love which is valuable for oneself and which is valuable for everyone else too. This is what I would like to recommend and request all of you who are coming across this one way or the other to take into consideration and to go for. And it is a silent, graceful commitment to life. And this is what I call allowing the divine in a deeper sense. It is not blind, fanatic holding to an idea of God and trying to fight and to go into power games with it. It is simply seeing that there is the godliness manifesting in everything in life, that every aspect of life is wondrous. And when you bring awareness, it will become more and more transparent to yourself, more and more conscious to yourself. It will become more and more feelable to yourself. And when you feel it, when you see it, when you recognize it, then it is not just you are following somebody or you are propagating something. You are sharing what you see, what you understand. You are living that. You are living the wonder, you are living the beauty, you are living the love authentically. And you are being true to yourself when this orientation is consciously brought into living. So this I wanted to share with all of you.